Hey guys, so today we are going to do part 2 of what would an Aquarius do. We did part 1 the last time I uploaded, and we had some really interesting responses. A lot of you, oddly enough, would have done what I said I would do, so that makes perfect sense. So for those of you who didn't see part 1, what would an Aquarius do is our little game where people send me questions. What would an Aquarius do in certain situations? And I'm going to tell you, as an Aquarius, what I would do. And then hopefully you guys will tell me in the comment section if you agree or if you would do something else. Okay? So I'm going to do the introduction. And then we're going to go through our list and play our What Would an Aquarius Do game. Okay? Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Onset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who might like it too. And please leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you have time, please stick around because I'm going to read 2 of my previous positive comments and respond to them. If you would like to get a reading done, if you would like to hit me up on social media, if you would like to get me a gift from my Amazon wish list, if you would like to give a love donation to my channel, if you would like to get some Ask an Aquarius merchandise, all of that is underneath this video. Okay? All right, let's get started. Number 1, what would an Aquarius do if their father stole from them? Now, let me tell you something. The other day, I was in an Aquarius group because I've been in a couple Aquarius groups on Facebook to get ideas for the show. And one of the things that happened was we were talking about family. And almost all of us in the room were agreeing that family can get it too. Okay? We love our family. We love our friends. We're humanitarians. We love the world. But if you cross an Aquarius, father or not, you're going to kiss the curb. If my father stole from me, now my father isn't with us anymore, but if he was and he stole from me, he would not be allowed at my home anymore, or my car, or anywhere near my stuff anymore. Now that's not to say I wouldn't have a relationship with them. I might still call them here and there. I might send them a card on Father's Day, things like that, but he would not be allowed to steal from me again. That's one thing Aquarius is very funny about. Aquarius is really funny about lying and stealing from us, yelling at us. It's certain things. Abusing us in any way is the easiest way to have an Aquarius turn off from you, father or not. So if my dad stole from me, he would kiss the curb. I do not do theft. I don't care. I had somebody steal from me that I was very close to in the past 4 years. And some of you were around for this situation. It was a Virgo. Many of you were around during that time. And I kicked her to the curb so fast her head spun. I didn't even discuss it. I was just like, because first she was like, oh, what's wrong? Trying to pretend like she didn't steal it. And I knew she stole it. I was like, That was the end of that. Aquarius do not do theft, and we don't care who it is. So definitely, if it was my father, I would not let him around my stuff anymore. What would an Aquarius do if they witness a crime? Now, most Aquarius would probably call it in, even anonymously, whatever the case is. It really depends on what the crime is, because Aquarius are big on what's right and justice, and like I said, we're humanitarians. So especially if you get an Aquarius that's more of a high vibrational, caring Aquarius, we are definitely, if we see a crime or something like that, we're definitely going to call it in. And it also depends on what the crime is, because is the crime, somebody shoplifting? Because if somebody was shoplifting, I probably wouldn't call that in. I probably would just ignore it and let them just get caught by the camera. That's like on them. But if I saw somebody like, getting hurt or something like that, like in the street, I might call anonymously and say, hey, there's somebody getting hurt on the boulevard. You might want to go check it out. So it does depend on what the crime is. But many Aquarius would probably either react to it or mind their business. It's one or the other, and it definitely depends on what the crime is. What would an Aquarius do if they had to give up their, oh my God, y'all, I gotta stop and breathe before I even read this. What would an Aquarius do if they had to give up their freedom for an entire month? Somebody asked me this in the comment section. I thought I was going to faint when I had to copy this one down. A month of no freedom. Well, I'll tell you what many Aquarius would do. And I saw this in the comment section, and I've done this before. Aquarius were talking about if they can't get any freedom, like if they live in a house with other people, we spend more time in where? The bathroom. The bathroom is the one place you can, a lot of times, unless you have children, can get privacy. And even then, if you have a lock on the door, you might even be able to get it then. So a lot of Aquarius are like, you know what? If I couldn't get any freedom, I would have to deal with it. But I would definitely be using that bathroom a lot more. I'll be taking a lot more showers. I will be in the bathroom a lot longer just to get some time to myself. Now, I said I've done this before because when I was younger, I used to teach high school. And one of the schools I taught for had these awful people. The principal was just awful. And I did not want them bothering me because they always were like walking around and want to talk to you. And, you know, I wanted a break, you know. I wanted some freedom for these people and I wanted to go chill. So the bathroom had a table and chairs. Somebody had a little lounge area set up in the bathroom. And every day during my break time, I would go in there and hide in the bathroom. And I would read my books. I would listen to music. I'd text my friends. I would do whatever I felt like doing, but I was in the bathroom. So it is a place of sanctuary. So if you're an Aquarius and Aquarius probably figured that out already, but in case you haven't, that is one place, especially if it's a nice, clean, nice smelling bathroom, on point. So that's what we would do. We wouldn't want to give up our freedom at all, but if we had to, like let's say we had to, you know, go to something such as boot camp, for example. I've never been to boot camp, but that's a time when I'm imagining you have to give up your freedom. So Aquarius would be trying to steal any kind of moment any way that we possibly can, if at all possible. So I don't know how that works, but yeah, something like that. The bathroom is a lifesaver. What would an Aquarius do if an authority figure asked them to do something? Now, the other day, this woman, I totally ignored her because I just didn't feel as though it was worth my time. I just ignored it. But this woman said, Aquarius aren't as rebellious as you say because during the pandemic, Aquarius wore masks and they washed their hands and they social distance. Now, I still do those things because where I'm at, the pandemic is you know, so I still do those things. And like I was thinking, I didn't say this to this person, but I was thinking, Aquarius rebels against things we don't agree with. I agree with living. I agree with being alive. So when they recommended a mask, I wear one because I agree with living long. Now, some people argue that the mask isn't effective and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, whatever. So I'm going to wear it. And I'm going to keep my hands washed because I haven't caught COVID. So obviously what I'm doing is working for me. So I'm going to keep doing that. So the answer to this question is the Aquarius is going to do what an authority figure says if it's something we agree with. We only rebel when we don't agree. If you are saying something that I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling that, I'm going to go along with it. It's things that I don't agree with where you're going to have a problem because I'm not going along with something that I don't agree with. So if an authority figure asks me to, let's say, what's the word? Espionage. You know, to commit espionage or to steal or something like that, or to lie for them in a court of law or something along those lines. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. If an authority figure asks me something that I don't agree with, I'm not doing it, and I'm just going to deal with the consequences. Because at the end of the day, I would rather have my integrity and deal with the consequences than not. But if they ask me to do something or tell me to do something and I'm like, okay, or if it's my job, for example, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So Aquarius, remember that we don't always rebel. We don't sit around looking for reasons to say no like a 2-year-old. We rebel when it's something we don't agree with. And most of us, as we get older, the rebellion is less and less. I used to rebel a lot more than I do now. Now, I kind of go with the flow more so now. And like I said, I only rebel when I have to. What would Aquarius do in a movie Saw situation? Okay, so I've never seen the Saw movies. I've never seen anything in the franchise. The only thing I've seen are reviews on YouTube because I do not like horror movies. I cannot stand them. When I was a kid, I didn't mind. But when I got to be about 23, 24, I remember one time I went to San Diego. I was talking to this gentleman. Well, he wasn't really a gentleman. I was talking to this guy, and he lived in San Diego, and it was a whole mess. It's a whole mess. And I went to see this person, and while I was there in San Diego, Resident Evil came out. And this is how long ago this was. This was the first Resident Evil. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the movies. That movie grossed me out so much in the first 5 minutes that I walked out. I didn't even ask for my money back. I just left. Because it was a scene and this person got split in half and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't take it. So slasher, people getting shot, blood, guts, gore. If I even think that's what the movie is like, I'm not going to watch it. It's disgusting to me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I can't watch none of that. But I do love ghosts. I can watch Annabelle, The Conjuring, all that kind of stuff. That fascinates me. I love that kind of stuff because of the field of work that I'm in. And most of it is really fake, but I just still enjoy watching it. One of the things I like to do on YouTube, like I was talking about, is there's channels where they tell ghost stories. I will listen to those for hours. But there's another channel where this guy talks about different horror movies, and I watch his channel to hear about the ghost movies that I like, but he also talked about Saw. So he talked about Jigsaw and his motivations and all that kind of stuff. So I saw a video about it, and basically in that type of a situation, it seemed to me that Jigsaw did one or two things. He took people who either were trying to get him or catch him or harm him in some way, or he took people who he wanted to learn a moral lesson. One of the things that the guy said in the review was that Jigsaw thought that if you had a traumatic experience, it was really one of the only ways for a person to change themselves. I agree with him in a sense, because dealing with a narcissist did make me change my whole life. So a traumatic enough situation will make some people change. But I don't agree with his methods. His methods are psychotic. So he's thinking in some cases that putting people through these games will make them into a better person. So I'm like, okay. So if you put an Aquarius into this type of situation, we're going to try to think our way out of it. We're going to try to use that old logic, and it might work and it might not. I can't say that an Aquarius would make it through one of these Saw scenarios, but I will say we would definitely try. We would try to do everything in our power to make it through, to outthink the killer. If somebody had me, I would be trying to outthink them, outsmart them, wait until they were gone and sneak out. Like sometimes I hear stories about people who get abducted, and they'll say, like the one girl said, she said that homeboy left her, like he had her terrified. He was like, abusing her. And she said he left her like in his room, and like she wasn't even locked in. She was just in his room, and he told her don't leave. Man, and Aquarius, as soon as we heard him pull off, we're going to make a run for it. He going to have to kill me because I'm going to try to escape. So in a Saw situation, we're going to try to survive. We're going to try to figure out whatever the puzzle or whatever because I think Jigsaw does little puzzles and little mysteries. Whatever it is, we're going to try to figure it out and we're going to try to get the hell out of there. We're going to try to escape. One of the words for Aquarius, remember, is freedom. And with freedom comes escape. We will escape any situation if at all possible. So I don't know if we would be able to outthink it, but we would damn sure try. We would damn sure try. All right, so now we're going to take a look at some of our positive comments. Sarah Summers. Hey, Sarah. Sarah said, there are some amazing Aquarius out there. But it hits home when you spoke on having to compromise with their partner. They can be extremely selfish at times. I have to agree. As an Aquarius, I must agree. In some of my relationships, probably all of them, I was probably very selfish at times, if not all the time. Because one of the things that Aquarius do that is a problem in relationships that feeds into this is we want to do whatever the hell we want to do when the hell we want to do it. This is problematic because when you're in a relationship, you can't just do whatever you want to do. You have to compromise with the person. You got to talk to them. You got to work through things. And if you have the mindset that I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, then this can be extremely selfish and can cause a lot of problems. I could think of many situations where the other person wanted me to do whatever, and I was just like, look, I ain't doing that. So, so you want to just deal with it in the best way you know how, because I'm not doing it. So, you know, you're right about that. That's not easy for us. It's not easy for a lot of us anyway. I think some Aquarius might master it after a while, but I'm still working on it. It's still a work in progress. The next positive comment comes from SKBD69. Hello. And this person said, oh my God, so true. Especially for an Aquarius like myself. Laugh out loud. I need to be stimulated in the best way by you, or I'd rather be alone. Hell yeah. What am I with you for if you're not stimulating me? If we're not stimulating each other, quite frankly, if that's the case, yeah, you could be by yourself. You could probably find ways to stimulate yourself better than that person. And if that's the case, deuces. So I agree with you 100%. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.